Hey, I'm Steve Krenz for Guitar Gathering. I wanted to show you a quick lesson on how to play harmonics on guitar. Now, there's a PDF that goes along with this. The link for that is in the YouTube description down below. And we're going to be talking about harmonics. That's these bell-like sounds that you hear sometimes on guitar. Now, that was one of the first things that really fascinated me about the guitar is what on earth is that? I have regular notes, and then suddenly you're able to whip out these harmonics there. What on earth is that? Well, that's what we're going to be learning about tonight. So if you want to have your guitar with you, it might be helpful to have your guitar with you so you could practice these with us. Now, I know the first time I watched some guy do them, I remember thinking, well, how's he doing it? It's almost like magic. It's just like he's hardly doing anything there. Well, let's talk about what harmonics are and how to play them on guitar. Here's the deal with harmonics. You gotta first of all have to understand what harmonics are and how they work on an instrument. So I'm going to take you all the way back to 7th grade physical science class for your physics little chapter there where they talked about the properties of a string. So here's the string as far as this guitar is concerned. It's attached here at this end and here at this end. And when I play it, then the whole string is vibrating. But actually, inside of that sound is a lot of other sounds. So there's a whole lot of other frequencies in there. It's not just the pure tone. There's this whole harmonic series above it. And so that's what these harmonics get into. So if we divide this string into halves and maybe thirds and maybe quarters, in science you call that a node where this string intersects. In music, we call those harmonics. That's where these harmonics happen. They happen at very specific points on the instrument. So if I'm hitting this string, this low E, the first harmonic, the strongest one, is going to be at the 12th fret. That's the exact midway point of the string. So right here at the 12th fret. Now, not at the 11th, not at the 13th. And not in between the 12th and the 11th, like where we normally would fret a note. To do a harmonic, I've got to be right exactly above that 12th fret. So that's the first thing you need to know. Accuracy matters with harmonics. 11th, it doesn't happen. 13th, it doesn't happen. It's science. It's got to be right at the 12th. And so the first one, the strongest one, happens on the instrument, on stringed instruments at the 12th fret, that midway point of the string. All right? The next one happens when we divide the string into thirds. Okay, so that would be about right here. And sure enough, the next strongest one happens at the 7th fret. Again, not the 6th and not the 8th. It is the 7th. So it's helpful to understand kind of the science behind it. It's not just magical, it's science where these things happen at. Okay? So they happen at the 12th, that's the strongest one. The next one is they're going to happen at the 7th. Well, you're probably thinking if there's one at the 3rd point right here, then there's probably another one way up here. Well, yeah, there is. So that's the other place, the 3rd of the instrument, right there. But we don't use that one because it's just so far up. So down here, it's at the 7th fret. The next one, if I divide the string into quarters, then we get another one here right above the 5th fret. So there's another one. And again, close doesn't count. Doesn't happen. Now, there are a few other ones along the way. There are a few other ones that are higher up. These are a little bit less useful because it's just so specific where you have to have your fingers. Over the 12th, that's the strongest. The 7th is the next strongest. And the 5th. Those are the three that are the meat and potatoes of guitar playing harmonics. They happen at the 12th, the 7th, and the 5th. So let's see what happens. If I hit this 6th string, and then I hit the harmonic at the 12th fret, I get the octave of this low note. Here's the low E. An octave above that. If I fretted the note, it would be that. But if I do the harmonic, it's also that. Now, if I do the harmonic at the 7th, well, now it's up an octave and another 5th. So you're actually hearing, if I hit the 7th fret on the 6th string, I'm actually hearing this high E, or excuse me, this high B, 2nd string. That's a lot of times how we can tune by using that harmonic there. The one at the 5th fret, then I go up another stacking of it. So it's the first is an octave, then it goes to a 5th above the octave, then it goes to a 4th above that octave, which actually turns into be 2 octaves up. So here's a low E, and then 2 octaves above that is that harmonic at the 5th. So you have to kind of understand what's going on. I'm simplifying it incredibly. If you want to really learn about this, go type in harmonic series into Google and you'll get more about how this works and how it affects everything. This is not just a guitar phenomenon. This is with all of music. So this is how clarinets work, and why a trombone sounds the way it does, and why my voice singing some pitch, even though it's the exact same frequency as a trombone would do that specific pitch, why do they sound different? Because of all these other things that are in there as well. So that's harmonics. Well, okay, the next thing is how do we play them on guitar? So where they're at is the 12th, the 7th, and the 5th. Not in between the frets where you fret them. It's right above the fret bar, right above the metal bar. Now, how do you play them on guitar? Well, here's the deal with that. You want to lightly touch, not fret, not push down, but lightly touch that string right above the metal fret, right on top of the metal fret. I'm not pushing it all the way down. I'm just lightly touching it right there and then plucking it. Doesn't matter if it's with a thumb or with your a pick, that doesn't matter. But it's right above it. I'm lightly touching it. There it is. Now I'm doing them with my 3rd finger there just because it's a little bit higher. I could do them with other fingers there as well. Doesn't matter what finger you do them with, it matters. And it's going to take you a while to kind of get the feel of it and how lightly you need to touch them. If you want to make it sound a little clearer, as soon as you pluck the note, you release the finger and you take it off. So worry about getting the note first and then release your finger. And just like with anything, you're going to be clumsy and awkward the first few times you do this. It's going to sound like that for the first few times. And then you're going to get it one time. You're going to go, oh, that was it. So it takes a little bit of practice when you're initially doing it just to get the physicality of what's happening there. Okay, I'm lightly touching the strings. I'm not pushing it down. I'm lightly touching the strings where that right above the fret, whether the 12th, the 7th, or the 5th there. Now, it also helps to have your hand a little bit further back on the strings. That excites these harmonics, that activates these harmonics a little bit more than if I was in the center of the instrument. So if I just play a string, you can hear it. If I'm in the middle of the instrument, it sounds warm, but if I get toward the end, it gets a little brighter sounding. That's because you're exciting, you're activating these higher harmonics a little bit more. So it's going to be easier to get them to sound out with your hand just a little bit further back toward the bridge. All right, so there you go. These are called natural harmonics. So we haven't, you can do them in other ways, but I would first urge you to practice them and get them to where you can play them with a measure of control. At the 12th fret, just go with each string, and then you go to the 7th fret, and that may take you a while to kind of get the feel of it. The 5th, this is weaker. If you're interested in the science of it, let's just go down that road for about 10 seconds. If I play this low note here, this is actually a combination of all kinds of frequencies, not just this bass one. There's other notes in there. So inside of this note is this, the upper E. So inside of that lower E, and when I stop that lower E from vibrating, what's left is that higher E. That's why when I lightly touch it, and I don't let that full string vibrate, it gets just that. There you go. Now, if you flip over to the second page of the PDF, let's take a look at some of the concepts there. In music, how are these things notated? They're usually notated by a diamond for a note head. Most note heads are round, but sometimes when they're indicating harmonics, you'll see a diamond for a note head or a different kind of note head. That's generally indicating that it is a harmonic. Now, these things occur in some musically helpful spots on the instrument. So let's talk about that. If I do a harmonic at the 4th string, 12th fret, 3rd string, 12th fret, 2nd string at the 12th fret, I get a D, a G, and a B, which conveniently make a G triad, which can form a little chord there. And I'm just plucking the 4th, the 3rd, and the 2nd string. I'm using my thumb and my 2 index and middle finger here. And that creates a little G chord, which is really helpful if I'm playing something in G. I can add a little flashy little harmonic at the end of that. If I do them at the 7th fret, those notes are an A, a D, and an F sharp, which make a great triad in the key of D. So if I'm playing something in the key of D, I can hit those, and it makes a wonderful D triad. So if I hit the once the 5th, I get back to a G, but it's up an octave. So lower octave, upper octave. Now if I'm really slick, I can do them all. Which make a G chord, a D chord, and a high G. So look at that first lick. I thought I would include some of my more usable licks. So there you have it. In the middle of page 2 there, you have a G chord. So I'm just going to hit the 1st, the 6th string, the 4th string, 3rd string, 2nd string, and then I'm going to go up, see those diamond note heads, and I'm going to go up here to the 12th fret, and I'm going to hit the 4th and the 2nd string, and then the 3rd string. Sounds like a doorbell, doesn't it? And then I'm going to do the same thing, the 2 outside strings, the 4th and 2nd, at the 7th fret. And then I'm going to hit the ones at the 5th fret. So if I play that whole lick together, now they're very specific where you need to put your fingers on that. And the answer to how do you get better at them? With anything, it's just practice. It's just practice. I've been doing these for way too many years, so I can rip them off and not have any problems with them. But if you're just starting with them, it's going to take a little bit of time sitting on your couch trying to figure out where to play them. Don't get discouraged by that. You'll eventually figure out the feel of it. Touch it and then release it. Now they happen there. We did them on the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd string, which formed a triad, a major triad. If I do them on the 3rd, the 2nd, and the 1st string, that forms a minor triad. In this case, at the 12th fret, an E minor triad. So if I look at the 2nd lick there at the bottom of page 2, I have a little E minor 9th, sort of a shape. And I can hit my little lick there. E minor 9th arpeggio, I did a little arpeggio here on the E minor, up here, then I hit the harmonic there. If you want to, you can just keep going. And there you go. So that's the basic natural harmonics. There's all kinds of different types of harmonics, pinch harmonics and false harmonics and fake harmonics and all kinds of stuff. These are natural harmonics, the ones that occur naturally on the instrument. We've been playing them with two hands. One hand fretting, one hand plucking. Now I want you to take it to the next level. We're going to do them with now one hand. So I'm not going to use this hand at all. I'm only going to use my plucking hand. So he's got to do two things now. He's got to lightly touch the string and pluck. So how do we do that? Well, we're going to lightly touch with our index finger, and we're going to pluck with our thumb behind it. Okay? So if I played it like this at the 12th fret, I'm going to lightly touch at the 12th fret. And I'm plucking behind. Now, it's a little hard to see from the front like this because my hand is covering. So let me turn a little bit and get where you can see me, hopefully. And I want you to see that my thumb is plucking that behind there. So I've got to keep my index finger straight and strong. And then my thumb is going to come around behind it and play that motion. And again, these are tricky, so expect these to take you a little while to get. Remember, it's right over that fret, not close to it, right over it. And again, once you get that motion, then you can do it at the 7th, which I would encourage you to practice. And again, these are going to be harder. And also, since I'm plucking not down here where the other harmonics are activated, they're going to be really hard to get because I'm not plucking, where the harmonics are activated there. So, all right, that's another way to play them. So I would encourage you to play them, to practice them that way. We have the natural way, and then I have this one-handed way, which that's going to become real helpful here in a minute. Okay, so let's those are natural. Those are both natural harmonics, just one and two-handed versions of it. Let's talk about false harmonics or other types of harmonics. So you got to think of just the physicality of what's happening here. Remember how we talked about how the string is attached from here to here? Then what if I put my first finger at the 1st fret? Well, now the string is not from here, but it's from here to here. And so now my harmonic is not at the 12th fret anymore, it's at the 12th plus 1. So now it's at the 13th fret. And you can work with these with a capo. So I'm going to ask my producer here just for a second to go over to the computer over there, and right underneath that computer you'll see a gold capo. Yep. And I'll show you how this works with a capo. Thank you so much. All right, so here's my capo. So let's say I put my capo here at the 2nd fret. All right, so now my capo's at the 2nd fret. So my harmonics now are going to be 2 frets up from where they were. So now they're going to be at the 14th fret. They're not at the 12th anymore. You'll notice that they're not at the 12th anymore. They're at the 14th. That means they're not at the 7th anymore. They're at the 9th. They're not at the 5th anymore, they're at the 7th. So you got to be doing a little bit of musical math to keep up with where these things are at. But that's how they work with when you move the length of the string. Remember, this is science, this isn't magic, it's science. Okay? If I change the string length, then the middle point of the string is moved to a different place. Had a fellow ask me today, what about if you had the length of the string, doesn't matter what the string is tuned into? No, it doesn't. Okay, now my low E string is now to a D, but the physics of it is still the same. The midway point of that string, there's my harmonic. Now, it's the harmonic, it's the octave of whatever the string is. Now the string is a D, so now the harmonic is a D. Okay, so you have to keep in mind that. But where they are is at the same place they would be in naturally. All right, so now that we've gotten that, let's take you one more. Let's do a chord, okay? So if I did an E chord here, well, what's happening here? The 6th string, the 2nd string, and the 1st string, those are all open, okay? So my harmonics are going to be at the 12th fret. But on the 5th string, it's at the 2nd fret, so my harmonic from that is at the 14th. The next one is still at the 2nd fret, so it's still at the 14th. The 1st finger on the 3rd string is at the 1st fret, so that would be at the 13th. So if you see, I'm outlining the shape of the chord. Can you see it? I can outline the shape, the basic shape of the chord. Okay, now that I know that, then I can play little melodies, but I have to kind of keep track of where I'm playing. So, something like that. You've got to keep track of what the notes that you're playing there in order to be able to do that. Okay, so those harmonics, when you're following along a chord, let's say I did a B minor chord up here. See how I'm outlining the chord? Those are called false harmonics because those are not in the natural open string part. They're according to a fretted note. So that's what false harmonics are. Sometimes they'll call fake harmonics theirs too. Now you can combine these harmonics to create all kinds of wonderful things. So if I'm playing, let's say I'm going to go all open, and I'm going to do a little run that's like this. I've created a little scale there. Sorry. What I'm doing there is I'm plucking the D open, 4th string. I'm hitting the harmonic at the 12th fret, 6th string, which gets the now E above it. Then I go to the 3rd string, hit that open, hit the harmonic at the 5th, and then I go the 2nd string open, hit the harmonic at the 12th of the 4th string. So now I have, then I can't go any higher than that because it's already done. So then I just kind of hit the remaining harmonics, the 3rd string, 2nd string, 1st string. A cool little trick that you could do. A lot of times you can get these cascading harmonics. What is all that? All right, I've got him hitting I've got my finger at the 3rd fret here, and I'm hitting the harmonic at the, the 15th fret. Then I'm plucking up with my ring finger on the 1st string at the 5th fret, this A. So I'm getting a B flat, A, pull off to the G. Then I go the next string down, hit the harmonic at the 4th string at the, whatever that is, the 15th fret. 2nd string, 5th fret, pull off to the 3rd. So all that together is... And so you can get these little cascading. And when you combine them with these fretted notes, you get these wonderful little arpeggiated cascades that you can do with them. So now there are other things. So let me switch over to my electric guitar. And let's talk about another way to play harmonics. So here I've got my 335. And I'm going to throw on a little distortion here. And I'm going to put it onto the back pickup, because that's where, remember, the harmonics are excited more toward the back end. Okay. Hear all those little squeals up there? How am I doing that? Oh my goodness, these are, some guitar players call these pinch harmonics. I don't really think of them that way. I don't really perform them that way. What I'm doing, okay, completely different way of doing them. I'm hitting the string with my pick, okay? But behind the pick, I'm going to put the nail of my middle finger, and I'm just going to rest it on the string. So it's just touching the string. And you'll notice, remember how I said that there's harmonics all over this string? Well, when I have a good hunk of distortion, which really gets those harmonics activated, I can use that. Can you hear all the other harmonics that are in there? So you don't hit them all the time. But they're a fun little way that you can add some real funkiness and power to your electric playing. ZZ Top uses these all the time. How I could never figure out how to do the pinch part of it, so what I did was this nail thing. I would just let my nail rest on the back of that string. So you don't get them all the time, but you get them enough to really get that squeal when you need them. So that's another way to do harmonics. There's trying to think of another way that you could do harmonics. Phil Kagi does a way. These work actually a little bit better on single coil than single coil pickups than these, but I'll try and do it. What I'm doing there is I'm kind of just slapping the string, but I'm trying to hit my finger at where the point of where I'm fingering down here. So if I'm fingering at the 3rd fret, then I would try and hit that string at the 4th string, right at that, 12, 13, 14, 15th fret. If I wanted to do a whole chord, I just kind of get the rough outline of the chord. That's another way to do harmonics. All right, so that's just about all the ways I can think of do harmonics. Now I can combine them with chords. What am I doing there? I'm doing that old every other string technique where I hit this when I'm hitting the 3rd string normal. I'm doing the harmonic on the 5th at where the chord is, hitting the 2nd string normal. I'm doing the harmonic at where the chord is, so it's up here. So you can do all kinds of great harmonics with this. So with a little bit of practice, they get more and more comfortable, and you can start to add them into music. So we're going to talk a little bit more about them, and I'll give you some more examples in a coming lesson, but that's a good introduction into harmonics. So I'd encourage you just to start playing with harmonics. And here's a free one for you. Let me switch guitars again. I played guitar a long time, and I did not know that physically a guitar could do this until just about 2 years ago. The great guitarist Clive Carroll ripped off a harmonic, and I thought, what in the world was that? What did you just do? All right, follow with me. This is a bonus one. There's one at the 12th. There's one at the 5th. But did you know that if you tap down the 5th and the 7th at the same time, I actually get the octave of the 7th. Now, you could do it from the 5th and the 7th, or you can do the 5th or the 7th and the 12th. Sorry. Did you hear that? You can get an octave above the 7th by hitting the 7th and the 12th, touching them both at the same time. I played the guitar a long time. I never realized the guitar could do that. So and Clive just ripped that off, and I thought, oh, there you go. Something the instrument physically can do that I never knew it could do. I can bet almost 99% of you did not know that the guitar would do that. That if you fret down the 7th and the 12th at the same time, or touch them, you get the octave of the 7th. There you go. All right. That's a little bit about harmonics. Enjoy working with them. We'll try and have a lesson on them, and the next time as well to give you some more practice and some more examples on harmonics. Hey, I'm Steve Krenz for Guitar Gathering. We will see you guys next time.